It's Dr. Lauren with Animal Ranch Care, and I decided to do an impromptu live, and I pulled over here, if you see in the background, at the Fairgrounds here in Cleveland, Texas. And as I was driving by, it made me think of a story, just kind of like reflection, I guess I'd say, not like my usual story times, but today I just wanted to tell you guys a little background about my career and how I started. So I graduated in 2018 to adjust animals. And like a lot of you know, I started with horses and dogs. But a lot of you might not know this side of my animal career. Now, how did I start out with cattle? And how did I figure out how to adjust a goat, or how to adjust a sheep, or how to adjust a lamb? You know, sheep, lamb, same thing, but lambs are younger than sheep. So I do adjust pigs, I adjust all of the livestock. So I'm here on scene at the Cleveland Livestock Show and Rodeo, and this is in Cleveland, Texas, here in the middle of town. They've got a lot of animals bringing in now to get started, and they've got horses here, and they're loading in different types of animals. Trailers are all around, and when I was driving past here, I was coming from adjusting. Hello, everybody. I was coming from adjusting a couple of lamb, and I adjusted lamb, and I adjusted cattle. And sometimes I'm not able to talk about or show them because people don't want them on camera. And a lot of you might not know this, but they don't want them on camera because they don't want people to see them before the show. So it's a very private, you know, a lot of people put a lot of pride and joy into the work of their animals, and they show them with their children. Some of them are cattle ranchers, some of them are, you know, in the business of selling their livestock, and so they use the shows as an opportunity to, you know, enhance, to see their businesses. So they'll come in and they'll, you know, show their animals, and this is their quality and this is their work, and they don't want that on camera before the show even happens. So to ask someone to film, hey, can I film your 3 lambs and, you know, 2 cows getting adjusted for the local show? No, they're not going to do that. And that puts me in a conundrum because I want to film it, but I can't film it. And I want to show you guys all the cool things that I do. I thought about asking somebody if I could just adjust their lambs that aren't showing so that they wouldn't feel threatened by putting them on camera, but that didn't go over so well today. So I hope y'all are having a great Saturday. I'm here, like I said, live in Cleveland, Texas, which is about 45 minutes northeast of Houston, and it's up 59 Highway. It's a really small, tight-knit community, really a connected community that comes out and supports one another. And don't get me wrong, there's competition, but in the most things that I've seen, you know, you'll see people opening doors and shaking hands, and people who are, you know, getting ready for the rodeo and getting ready for the rodeo. There's a guy, a cowboy over there, getting all dressed up, you know, coming out, showing their animals here. They've got horses back over there. They'll have the arena where they show. Now, here's what you don't know about where I'm standing right now. Where I'm standing right now, many years back, was the first livestock show and rodeo that I ever came to as an animal chiropractor. So I was green, didn't know what I was doing. I just told this story to an ag teacher recently that I met from Liberty, Texas. And I got my start because I got called by a guy here in Cleveland area to adjust his steer. Now, the steer, in my mind, when I trained on horses and dogs, the cow's just like a horse, right? So I thought that the cow would be very similar to the horse. So I go out to this job, and here's this 6'3", 240-pound rancher with cows everywhere, and he says, you know, we need to get this steer adjusted. And I said, well, what happened to the steer? Now, this steer is 1,300 pounds, huge steer, and he's black and he's fluffy. And he said, well, he got hit by a car. And I said, excuse me? He said he got hit by a car. And he got out of his pen, and the car was going 80 miles an hour, and it didn't see him, and he hit him. So we named the cow, the steer, the name of the car that hit him, which was a Cadillac. So he had me check this steer for being hit by a car. Now you can imagine my surprise that it doesn't look like he got hit by a car, but this 1,300-pound steer got hit by a car going 80 miles an hour and clipped him on the hind end. So he's got the hair all fluffy and you can't really see, underneath the hair to see that there's scars under there. So I go to put my hands on him and I feel all these scarring that's already, healed up. It's been a while. Well, I said, well, what's your concern with them? And he said, well, Hawk is acting funny, which is his, back kind of ankle area, his hock, more in the middle of the leg. And I said, okay, well, let me take a look at him. So I took a look at him and I started to, palpate and feel all over his body and try to see what's moving and what's not. And as I proceeded, the cowboy rancher told me that he had already had a different chiropractor in the past, but he couldn't get that chiropractor out here, so he wanted to use me and try somebody new, local. And I proceeded to start working on this steer. Now, knowing that this cowboy rancher has seen an adjustment done by probably somebody more professional than me that's been doing it for about 20 years, I said, well, I'll give it a go. So I started doing my work and doing the adjustment and, moving the neck and adjusting this and adjusting that. And he looks at me and he says nothing. And I don't know about y'all, but having somebody say nothing is worse than having them say something rude. So he says nothing. He's standing there and he's watching. I was like, oh man, I'm messing up. I'm not doing a good job. This isn't good. My certainty in myself just went, womp, womp, womp. And he just, paid me kindly, but when I told him how much it was, he looked a little grimace here and looked perturbed. And I said, okay, well, I went home and I told Handsome Tim, I said, I don't think I did a very good job. He said, well, if you didn't do a good job, what can you do to change that? And I said, well, there's a cow chiropractor that I met out in Colorado one time, and she's in Amarillo area. He said, well, you got to go follow her. You've got to go find her and learn what she does, and you've got to become better. And I really took that to heart. Like, that's important. You've got to be good at what you do and represent your work very professional. So I booked a plane ticket to Amarillo, and I flew out to Amarillo by myself. I gave the doctor a call and said, can I come shadow you? And she said, we sure can. And it was a lady doctor, lady chiropractor, and she adjusts humans and animals. So I flew out to Amarillo, Texas, and I got to her house and got to the hotel after her home, and she said, okay. So I adjusted the next day, went with her, and she started working on cattle, and I was watching her, adjust these cows and push through, and you have to put your hand here and push through the cow, and you have to have the brace on both sides. You have to have somebody on one side hold the cow's neck, and so I braced for her, and she pushed against, and she adjusted the neck, and oh, it was so amazing just watching her move her body through the animal, and she would grab a shoulder and lift it up, and push the tail and swinging the cow by his tail, and my mind was just blown, watching her adjust these animals. The first one, she did that. The second one, she did another one. And then she said, okay, it's your turn. And I adjusted cow number 13 through 16. So I ended up doing 16 steers in one day. Some of them were in a squeeze chute where they lock them in for my safety, and some of them were not. And I came back, after I finished adjusting those 16 of them, and, thanked her for her time. And I got back to the area, and I was very excited to tell the cowboy rancher that I was going to give it another go, and it was on the house. It was on the house. And so he said, okay. So I show up, and I tell him he needs to be my board on the other side, and he needs to put his hands right here, and I'm going to do this and this. And I tell you what, the look on his face when he saw the difference in the quality and the work that I was doing, he looked so different. He said, what do I need to do? Where do I need to put my hand? How do I need to hold? Okay, yes, ma'am. Let's do this. So I'm my poor accent there from my Kentucky, Texas blend. But anyway, he started really, into it. He's really into this adjustment. And he was excited to pay me that time, excited to pay me. He was like, okay, you know, when can you come back? Can you come back another time? I said, how many times you need to come back? I said, I need to come back 2 more times. He said, okay, so you're going to adjust him before the show? I said, yes, sir, I adjust him before the show. He's going to walk in there. He's going to be great. So I adjusted this Cadillac another time, and I adjusted the Cadillac the day of the show. And I showed up to this location right here where you guys are looking at. And I was so lost. I was like, where do I go? Where do I park? Who do I talk to? What are we going to do here? And so I parked, and then his wife saw me in, and then his wife told me where to go. And right there in that building, right there, the long one, there's all the cows lined up inside of that, and they're all in their little area pens. And, you know, I walk in, all these sounds, and I'm a very sensory person, if you can't tell. And so he's got the cows lined up, and they're all standing. Some are laying, and there's different people looking at me, and I've got about, 12 or 15 eyes on me. And he says, well, let's get to adjusting. And he looks so proud to stand there and put his arms on the side of the cow. And then I would push through, and then we would do this whole combination. And I took before and after pictures, and a dramatic difference, to see him. And he told me, he said, well, when I walked him, he looked a little sore after the adjustment. And I said, give it time, he's going to do better, and he's going to work it out. And he said, well, he's got time to sleep. He's got about 5 hours till the show. So I said, okay. He said, okay. I said, he's going to get better. I promise he's going to get better. So the steer laid down and got up, and laid down and got up. And I actually went to the clinic, adjusted some patients, and I came back. And I decided to come back to the show. I'd never seen a show before, so I came back to the show. They've got all the cows lined up to walk in, and Cadillac walks in with his young person, the guy's daughter, and he's walking in, and there's about 20 of them in the group, and there's some black and some brown and some Charlet and different colors, and they're walking through there, and they're doing their thing, and God, he looked good, this steer Cadillac, and I was like, good job, I was really proud of myself. Well, what ended up happening, you guys, is that Cadillac steer, I got chills. He won the whole show. He won grand champion. He won everything. That's a lot of money for their family, a lot of money. We're to say a lot of money, as much as a Honda Civic would cost. So he, comes out, and he won, but he's not an emotional guy. And I look over at his wife, and she's got tears and joy, and I look at his daughter, and she's happy, and it was just an amazing moment. And having myself go through that and improving my certainty of adjusting cows with the help of this doctor out in Amarillo, Dr. in Amarillo really set me on a path to teach me and to lead the way. And I've told y'all a lot, the word doctor means to teach. So having her teach me how to adjust cows and do a good job, and have him win grand champion, my first cow of the experience, has just really improved my certainty so high that when someone says, does chiropractic work for cattle? Yes, it does. Does chiropractic change the way they walk or improve their conformation? Yes, it does. And why do I say? Because I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. So here in this location, and this grounds of this place, when I was driving past here, I was headed to lunch, and I was like, I have to pull over and tell you guys about how this started and how I came to be here. So I've since been back here 3 times. And the second time I came, I adjusted 3 cows. And the third time I came, I adjusted 6 cows. And as you do good work, that work is exemplified through the results. So the work and the results go hand in hand. That's how I know, and that's how I believe. And my tattoo on my arm, which many of you have seen, says do the work. And that's because when you do the work and the results are there, it really turns into something great. It really turns into a great career, really fulfilling career, where people ask for you, people know you by name. You build a name, but you really do it for him. And doing everything because he sees me, he knows what I'm doing. The Lord, the Most High, sees everything that I do. And this moment at this grounds is very special for me to share this with you before I head out to go to lunch. This is going to be a short video. I think I'm at my time. I just wanted to do a short video today. So I wanted to tell y'all that, and this rodeo, this show is going on all week. So I am going to stop by and I'm going to see all of them succeed, and I'm going to see the animals that I adjusted just walk out and have that great function, and they're going to win. And you guys have a great Saturday. I want to thank y'all sincerely for watching this. This is my Saturday short talk, and I'm glad that y'all were here to see it. So y'all stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll have Story Time Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we will cover some more stories of things that I've done to get ready for these animals to be able to show. So thank you all very much. I'm Dr. Lauren Baker with Animal Ranch Care, and thank you all for watching to my history of adjusting cattle. Bye for now.